They told us to give a disclaimer. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the podcasters, any guests, and do not reflect any of the management, owners, sponsorships, or employees of thereof. Pretty much, if you're soft, don't listen to this podcast.
One thing I pride myself on is just being the same and trying to look out for my folks along the way.
Like, even with all these, big things happening, like, you still mad humble, and you still, like, you have enough clout now where you could easily be like, I'm not fucking with this, I'm not fucking with that.
Oh yeah, motherfuckers, it's on. Unrestricted Podcast listeners, thank you so much for clicking play. Because of you, those numbers are going up, up, and up. And if you're not already, subscribe to the Patreon. You are missing out. There are many different tiers on the Patreon. I got a small business owner across from me. I am a small business. It costs money to put on these lights. It costs money to get these cameras and to put this thing together for your entertainment. So make sure you go on to patreon.com/DreRawka. That's DreRawka. You could always buy a t-shirt, a hoodie on the website as well. Allrock.com. ALLRAWK.com. But hey, I get it. It's hard out there. I'm a father of 3, husband of 1. Gotta say the 1 because there's never 2. And I know it's hard. If you want to help share non-monetarily, you can share, like, comment, subscribe. All that is free. It's free to show love. Now today I got a very special guest across from me. He shares the same name as me. I got Dre with Policy Kings Brewery.
What up, what up?
This is one that I've been excited about. Ever since I've been seeing you guys pop up, I've seen articles, a black-owned business in Utah. At the time, it was in Cedar City, right?
Cedar City, Utah.
Southern Utah.
Yep.
And it really surprised me, 1, because it was black-owned, but then 2, to be in the south of Utah where there's not a lot of us.
That's an understatement. That is completely an understatement. Yeah.
So where did this whole thing start, Dre? Where'd your story start?
My story actually started. So it's a kind of a little paradox. I was born in St. Louis. I grew up in L.A. I moved to L.A. when I was 11. Still struggled. Still, from that broken home concept, single family home, single mother. But here I am now. And then after that, I don't like to dwell so much because we all know we're all a product of our environment. But you can make a change from it. That's what I did. I had to fight through that shit and make a change. I joined the military right out of high school. Well, a year after high school. I went to college, and I realized I didn't want to do more school. So I went to the Navy, and I did my 4 years there, honorably got out in 2006, and then I moved to Cedar City. That was my first experience of the great Utah.
Okay. The Navy though, is there a family lineage in the military, or were you just like, nah, I'm gonna try something different?
It actually is a little bit of lineage as far as my grandfather, my uncle. That's about as far as I can go back as far, as knowing who's joined the military outside of myself. So there was some knowledge that way, but they didn't play any influence on why I joined the military. But I am grateful that they share that with me, that we are all veterans. And, we definitely push that a lot as being a veteran-owned, black-owned business, probably to a fault. And we get backlash from that.
Really? We
get a lot of backlash because being a black-owned business, you get that already. Sometimes it's just I'm not validated enough. So, I can be in the military. How many years you did? Well, you didn't do enough years in the military. What was your rank in the military? Oh, you're not high enough. So I got that backlash a lot moving to Utah.
Before then, did you ever experience that?
No, never. Only in Utah, where my veteranship has never been validated enough. So,
which is surprising because we're a red state. We're we got one of the top bases here.
We do.
And I feel like military, from my eyes, and obviously I'm not a military man, but from my eyes, the military was always highly respected in this community. So to hear that, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Is it more of a racial thing?
Of course it is. Of course it's racial. There's levels. So like I said, if they look at you and they perceive you a certain way, you're always looked at a certain way no matter what. So even in our household, it has been also the same way, as far as relatives. So I don't like to dwell so much on that part, but it's always been a hurdle as far as, recognition. Same reason why I chose to do the podcast from away from my wife and make sure that it's personalized. So being in Cedar City, everything was like Dre and Sarah. And we've built a name that way, and that's fine. But sometimes it would become, Sarah and Dre. So it was like the validation that I needed my wife to make sure that I was a legitimate business owner and not just a black business owner. That went on for our entire 6 years in Cedar, as far as if we were black owned or woman owned or female led or veteran owned. Like all of that played, came into question every time when they realized I was the actual owner of Policy Kings.
Well, I mean, all things can be true, right? You got your right hand woman, and the right hand man is both a black man and I'm assuming a white woman.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are a biracial relationship, couple, marriage. We've been married for almost 19 years. So
damn,
we've been pushing it.
That's dope. Me and my wife been together we're going on 13 next month. Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. So you moved to why Cedar City? You're out of the military at this point?
Yes, I'm definitely out of the military. I was stationed in San Diego, and I was raised in California or LA. So for me, I wanted to get out of the state. I was already burnt out of being in Cali. I'm a Cali boy. Anybody will tell you, if they're from California, they don't want to go back to California.
I've noticed because all you guys are coming here.
Exactly.
And it's annoying.
I just beat them to the rush.
Nah, stay home, all right? No thoughts and prayers for LA, but y'all be coming here raising up our housing prices.
Not me, I'm broke. I'm still broke.
Okay, so you're like, I want to get out of California. And what, you just like Utah?
At the time, my wife was she's a alumni of Southern Utah University. So she was in her last year, I believe, year and a half of college, and I was just getting out in 2006. So I had to make a choice quick. Do we stay in California? Do she move to California? Do I uproot her, or do I make the go ahead and make the transition? It was easy for me to make the transition because I was already a nomad anyways. I wasn't going home. I was getting out of the military. I needed to go ahead and make that trip. So it was pretty easy to make. We were already in a relationship probably a year before that. So we were already good to go on with our relationship as far as our dynamic. So it was easy making that transition until I got to Cedar.
Are you a father at this point?
No.
Okay, so that makes it even easier, right?
Yeah, no kids. I didn't have my first son until he popped out in 2007. So it didn't take long for us.
Okay. So you move, you already established with your wife, you got a partner, and you're in Cedar City. Are you, you're out of the military. Are you working in Cedar City?
No. So once I got out of the military, it was interesting. So here it goes back to the stereotype, the validation, the not recognizing, me being a veteran. I would use it too. I just got out of the military. I'm a veteran. I served 4 years in the Navy. Oh, thank you for your service. But it took me almost a year to find a job. And I went to every express. I went to every place, every job. I walked in, give them my whole spiel, show them my resume. They're like, well, we're not hiring. Went to a record store. Oh, we're not hiring. But the sign is saying clearly we're hiring. So for a good almost a year, till like October, November, I couldn't find a job, and I was getting turned down every day. So it wasn't an easy process.
Wow. Were you guys living on campus at this point?
No. So we were actually living in low-income housing in Cedar City. I won't list the place, but they were good to us. We were able to get in 2-bedroom apartment, I think. And it was pretty solid for us at the beginning, humble beginnings.
Oh, yeah. That's where it starts.
Still humble beginnings.
No, I feel you. So at what point do you have this dream to start your own brewery?
That was a long time in the making. I would say 2009. We were talking about it. It wasn't a brewery at the time. It was like, man, I just want to open a business. And at the time we were working at I was deciding between barbecue, nightclub, this club, brewery. I just had to decide which one. But it took us probably 7-8 years to put it in motion. We went through the whole process, building your business plan. That was the main thing. Our business plan was pretty much universal. Even though it was for a different business, it still taught us the process. And the process of putting down information, making sure that we're doing our market research, making sure we know what kind of business is going to be profitable and what's not going to be. Just really doing your due diligence, and that's part of being a small business owner. Because the moment you decide you want to go forward, you can't go in that blindly. So we definitely knew what we wanted, but it took us a few years to decide on what it was.
Did you have a blueprint? Was there anybody that you went to for guidance on building this thing?
No, kind of. I would look at a lot of videos on YouTube. YouTube was my saving grace as far as processes, how to create a business plan, how to just in general business. But when it came to breweries, I would just search how to brew this. And then I found this one video, and it's a brewery called Ricoli Brewery, and it's in Colorado, and they were like a 3-barrel system. And I used to just follow his stuff to a T. Everything he did, how he made it, how he built his cold rooms, the makeshift system he had. And one year, I think it was like 2018, right after we opened, I gave him a call. I messaged him. He was like, "Oh, just call me. We'll talk." I'm like, "Man, you don't even know how grateful I am because of you, and you wasn't even there to, receive your flowers from it. Your videos allow me to open my business." And we've been cool and friends ever since then.
That's so dope. Sometimes you want to keep a secret, right? Sometimes in this weird thing, people, if they get something, they get inspired by something, they're like, "I want to hold this to myself," but and not tell the person, right? But you're like, "Nah, man, like, you taught me. Because of you helped me do this."
Yep.
That's really dope, man. You got to give those flowers.
You do, because it's important, man. It's like sometimes you go through your everyday thing, and after, like, not the sidestep, but after being open, like, we've gotten a lot of support and help from a lot of people in the beer industry, and we're pretty close friends with most of the breweries, 99% of them, and they've been incremental and very important as far as our progress moving from Cedar to here. You know what I'm saying? We've gotten a lot of information. None of the stuff we didn't know, but sometimes you got to be real diligent about the stuff that you do. So shout out to those breweries that they know who they are. You know, they've been there for us, behind scenes, and always been supporting us.
That's dope. So how hard was it to find a location, and how hard was it to get? I'm assuming you need a liquor license.
Yeah.
How hard was that process?
We have our liquor license and our brewery license and our package agent license because we have it from Cedar City. We just got to do the formalities of going back to the state and reapplying for it and getting it back at our location. So we've already had everything in place. So it wasn't hard here, but it was almost impossible in Cedar City. As far as, look, my wife, that's my wife when she'd be like, "Hey, stay on task." But in Cedar City, we had to go through so many hurdles, man, just to get the process from passing all the codes, passing the zoning, getting our place open at the last minute, getting things approved through the city. Both are pretty parallel as far as the city goes. There's always one person that is trying to keep you from moving too fast in the process when they see that you're blowing through it. So that, and to put it in terms, when we opened in Cedar, we moved from here. I used to live in West Jordan before we moved back down to Cedar. We moved to Cedar in 2018 in April. We were open in September.
Wow.
So now we're doing the same process here. That's why we haven't got online and be like, "Look, we're opening in." Before it was October. This time it was February. Now it'll probably be like March-ish because we're moving fast, but there's always somebody in the city that try to slow your process when they see that you can blow through the process. And that's being, thankful to my wife. She is, now when we start talking about, like, she's my right hand and she's the backbone, absolutely, because she has the mental fortitude to get through that process. I don't have the will or the patience.
I was going to
sit
ask, is
there.
it the patience?
That's it.
Yeah.
So she has that. That is what she has been great at. And shout out to her because she also ran for city council in Cedar City, but we also know that is a red state, so she couldn't get that one. That's how wonderful she is and how much she contributes to our family. But yeah, just to put that in layman's terms, it took us only, 6 months, 7 months to open in Cedar City. Right now, we're almost there.
Yeah.
So we get it done in a time matter that is urgent for us. Like, we can't sit on it and be like, well, it's been a year out.
Yeah.
And we're still waiting for the city. Like, the city will really slow your progress. And with us, we're constantly on it. And luckily, and this is what I'll say that's been great with Salt Lake, the city council, the planning commission, who else can I say? James, Will, all of these people that are within Salt Lake City council and planning committee, they have definitely been like in our back pocket. A lot of places can't say that because they are really looking forward to us being open in Salt Lake, and they've really been supportive of that. So this is part of the reason why we've been able to move at the rate that we've been moving at, and we just need to keep on plugging away, and we'll be open.
Yeah, keep on keeping the foot on the gas.
That's it.
So going from a red city of Cedar City to a blue city in Salt Lake City, do you feel like you're going to be more,
Of course,
more welcomed?
of course.
Why did you have your doubts, or like what was, for me, I'm like, being black owned and being a black face in Cedar City, I think that's going to, just be a challenge being a business in Cedar City. But it's also, isn't Cedar City a college town?
No. It is not a college town. Beyond popular belief, yes, there is a university in Cedar City, but it is not a college town. School is they're on their trimesters, so students finish earlier now. So 3 years you could be done with college, but that's besides the point. Once school is out, everyone is gone. So keep in mind, you have people that are local to Utah that go to SUU. They kind of, hover around SUU when school is out. But for the most part, everyone is gone. Once school is out, all the people that they recruit that are from Vegas, Arizona, California, Oregon, Jamaica, they all go home. And then the people that are from Utah, they all go home also. So our seasons are pretty much March to October.
Is that sustainable?
No, that is not sustainable I don't believe for any small business, definitely. But for any brewery, I don't think so.
Now, are you guys, what is the Policy Kings from Cedar City? Is it going to be the same in Salt Lake City? Or are you guys offering other things that you didn't offer in Cedar City?
In time, we're going to definitely offer things we did not offer in Cedar City. We did not have a restaurant inside our space. We're going to lean toward having a food truck, though, instead, because we don't want to deal with the politics of having a restaurant inside our space. But we definitely got an idea that we want to do that I don't want to mention.
Okay.
I want to keep that for our grand opening that we're going to have. Our grand opening, just to specify, grand opening is our soft opening. So if you saw our flyer on there, this is another thing about being a black business owner or being a black person in America in general. We always have to prove what we do and what we have before they believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So we deal with that a lot. So all I'm saying is don't wait for the moment. If you see us post something for you to purchase, for you to grab on, believe that we vetted the process and vetted the things that we wanted to share. We just can't put it all out there because it's supposed to be a grand opening.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I also think that there's a lot of people say a lot of things, right? Support black, support minorities, support women. You're able to do all what Policy Kings.
Yep.
So, which, by the way, why Policy Kings?
See, this is where I wish my wife was sitting here because she's been great at explaining the story. But I'll do my best.
Okay.
I'll do my best. So I'll take it back to where we were in West Jordan. I was trying to come up with names, and it was impossible to find a name that wasn't already used. So I was trying to figure out a name that meant something to me, and it also related to the industry that I was in. So, of course, I'm looking for every black name in the world. Those are all taken by all the white breweries. Keep that in mind. So that just canceled out everything that I was looking for, to hip-hop this, to pick a name that's urban. We'll leave it at that. But then one day I came across Policy Kings because I was searching prohibition. And so Policy Kings were a group of black men at the time, and also there was an Asian guy and another white guy, but majority it was a black-owned situation that they brought to Chicago and New York. And the Policy Kings, just like during Prohibition, you had to figure out how you were going to sustain and make money and provide for your family when they were taking out, the legal part of being able to distribute and sell alcohol at the time. So they had to create businesses for, black businesses in black neighborhoods. And so these Policy Kings were number runners. They were dealing with the lottery that we see today. So that's literally the transition from policy slips to the lottery that you have in California, Arizona, all these places that you could win, $2, $3, $4 billion, however much to get up to. Mm-hmm. So essentially the Policy Kings were a group of people that ran numbers. And they also were able to sustain it. They were some of the only millionaires at the time also, during the time when there was, restriction as far as liquor goes. But it was just like anything, when you're successful in it, they call it gentrification, but it's really just a robbery being stolen from black people. They were providing jobs. They were providing opportunities. They were making money for the community. They were turning it around, putting it back in the community. But it was illegal. Mm-hmm. So, they were gambling. They were running numbers. They were playing the lottery. The lottery was illegal at the time. So that's my explanation of what Policy Kings are, because they're still in history. You can go read about it. We have this book that we followed called Policy Kings. I can't remember the second part of it, but you can search this book, and we use this book to come up with our name, the names of our beers, some of our labels. So we really use the background of what Policy Kings was at the time. And it means something to us because it was a black-owned business. It was doing Prohibition. They just it identified with me in the industry where there was no blackness in it, and so that was our best way to put that forward to let you know that, hey, black people drink beer also. Mm-hmm. Black people made beer, and a true story. Beer itself originated in Africa, so we definitely need to make sure that we let people know that beer isn't something that's, new to us, because our ancestors made beer way before everybody else.
Wasn't Jack Daniels black?
Yeah.
What was it called before Jack Daniels?
Ernest, or Nearest, what's his name? That's the guy that created the recipe for Jack Daniels.
Bingo.
So he was also a black man that put that together also. So we definitely make, have been making spirits and beer forever and for the longest. So that was our goal, is to make sure we was putting that narrative out there.
I love that you aren't, I don't even want to use the word scared. I love that you're truthful about who you are and you're proud of who you are and the company that you have built with your family.
Yeah.
Because to me, Utah and Salt Lake City, we're a family state. And I feel like it doesn't matter what your background should be. You should be able to celebrate family. You should be able to celebrate who you are and the history of where you come from. And I feel like this is a brand that anybody should be able to support. Anybody hear this story should be like, yo, this is dope.
Yeah. Get behind it or get beside me, whichever one. But we're definitely a family-owned business. Even our kids, man. My son and daughter can tell you the process. They don't they can help in the process of, of what we do, except before it gets to the holding tank and it's turned into alcohol. Mm-hmm. So my kids have cleaned the brew house, cleaned kegs, assisted us in beer recipes, brewed on some days. It is a family-owned business, true and true.
So you mentioned labeling brew. So do you have your own recipe, your own brew?
Yep. So we have, I think over the 6 years that we've been open and operating, we've brewed over 150 different styles of beer in the time that we've been in Cedar City. So yeah, we have our tried and true recipes that we're going to ride with when we open up in Salt Lake or in Central 9th. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be dope. We're going to have some good beers that people really loved over the time that we've been open. Our labels, so that's another story. Before I did got into this, I was in IT before this. So I'm really good at our labels. You should see our day one labels to our current labels. Like it's a big transition and growth between what I was doing. Like it really correlated to being new in the industry and not knowing. Mm-hmm. So I know exactly what I am and who I am now. So you see that in our labels when we put them out.
So are we doing dark beer, light beer, like L's? What are we brewing?
We're gonna definitely cover the spectrum because there's never anything wrong with having variety, man. So we tend to do flavorful beers. So it's not that it's a dark beer or a light beer, because I could make a dark beer and give you a lot of flavor and it doesn't taste like coffee. I'm not a huge coffee drinker and I'm not a stout drinker either. So we make our black IPA. True story. We also put out this beer. It was a double release and it was called Love and Hate. It was one juicy IPA or hazy IPA and one black IPA. So we put that out, and the story behind the Love and Hate, if you ever seen Do the Right Thing, you see Radio Raheem, he's holding the Love and Hate. So the love was the black IPA, the hate was the hazy. Super dope beers. We're going to release that, you know what I'm saying, every June. So that's going to drop, hopefully when we're open, we'll get that out in June. But after we first released that beer, the Love and Hate, beautiful label. I created it. It looks bomb. Go check it out. We were getting a lot of hate on it. We were getting a lot of hate on the labels. I used to be a part of this beer group that is originated in Salt Lake, and we shared our labels or the beers, and we explained what they were and the story behind it. We shared the monologue for it. We did all of those. Just here go the movie, go watch it. Especially during that time, 2018, 2019, 2020, George Floyd. So all that stuff was going on at the time. And every single person, I would say like 70% of the people said, well, we don't support hate. We don't support hate, and I'm not supporting this beer. And it's like, have you ever seen the movie, first of all? Never. So if you ever seen Do the Right Thing, you understand what that really meant. But we were getting a lot of hate as far as that hate label in general. And for a long time, we stopped making that one, and we were just making the hazy. But we came back around and realized that, you know what I'm saying, it's important to understand how they correlate and how they go together, and how even though you believe in one thing and you want to have love, there's always hate that's going to play, you know what I'm saying, a major part in whether, you know what I'm saying, you're getting along with or not getting along with. But we got a lot of backlash from that label, and that's why we decided to make sure we release it every year in June, because you have Juneteenth, you have a lot of things that go on, you know what I'm saying, throughout the year, and we just always try to be conscious about, you know what I'm saying, the state of America, how I'm feeling. And so that was a perfect example for us to describe, you know what I'm saying, the duality of America, just love and hate.
So is it with Policy Kings Brewery? Is it only going to be Policy Kings Brew, or are you going to have other brews that on there? No, we're gonna keep it to our beers only. We will always have guest beers though. Like we've always been a fan of most of the breweries in Cedar City. I mean, most of the beers and breweries in Utah. But as far as keeping our identity, like it's always going to be our beer. We've always did collaborations and had guest taps on, i.e. Ketos. You said you're not a coffee guy, but I love Ketos coffee and cream.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'll try everything.
Chef's kiss.
I'll try everything, but my go-to isn't that.
Okay.
I keep it on the lighter side nowadays.
I feel you.
But we love the breweries in Utah, man. So we'll always try to have or do a collab or have one of them guest tap all the time. So I won't say we won't ever have anybody on there. Just our identity is just gonna be Policy Kings. But like I said, there is a avenue that we're gonna touch on as far as bringing the things that I couldn't bring in Cedar City that I know I can do in Salt Lake, because Cedar kept us limited to the things we could do there.
Like what?
Let's just say entertainment. Let's start with entertainment. We couldn't have any. If you look at some of our reviews on Google and Yelp. Some not good, but a lot of great ones. We got a lot of great reviews. We've always been known for that. But if you look at some of them, you'll see a consistent underlying story about the music we play. So we monitor our music 100%. Like I'll make sure I'll look in the tap room and see what's in there and see what's going on. So if I know if I have an older crowd in there, I'm not going to play Hit 'Em Up. Let's just say I'm a 90s boy. So let's say Hit 'Em Up. I'm not going to have that playing in the background and I have an older crowd.
That's so LA, by the way.
That is. That is.
Are you sick of podcasts that just interview people with the same questions and gossiping nonsense?
Are you tired of hearing about what's wrong with the world? Can you locate your nearest orphanage?
Who cooked the Last Supper?
R.I.P. Mr. Potato Head.
Seppuku Harakiri.
Where is Mavis Beacon?
This is Hos.
And this is host Beefy.
Listen to the Beans and Rice podcast.
Exclusively in Braille and all streaming platforms.
Patent pending.
No pukesters helping me to the left, and no pukesters helping me to the right. Didn't need them then, don't need them now. You are the ex-champion bullet.
Now this is the way, Tony and David, that you do the figure 4 leg lock.
You love wrestling?
Do you believe that Stone Cold Steve Austin is the greatest entertainer of all time?
Or maybe that Shawn Michaels is the sexiest man alive?
Or did you have a thing for Sonny from the years of 1994 to 1996 like I did?
Did you know Yokozuna isn't even Japanese?
If you could count the number of dimples on Rikishi's ass, this podcast is for you.
Follow us, the Figure 4 Podcast on Instagram, at Figure 4 Podcast. And check us out on YouTube.
Do it.
Tell your punk ass friends about us.
Yeah.
Ready to be the next big thing out of Utah.
Man, I love watching Camp Mafaleo play.
Pack the house with his fans here. Julian's as tough as they come. He's always looking for the next toughest challenge out there.
This is where you do not want to be with Camp Mafaleo.
Teague Vigil!
Nico Broswell, crumbling combination thrown. These last few fights have just been impressive. I got a temple now, baby.
If you're a sports athlete looking for a mouthguard to protect your pearly whites, look no further than All Sports Mouthguards.
All Sports Mouthguards, located in West Jordan, Utah. Come visit us, 1385 West, 9000 South in West Jordan, Utah. We offer high quality, made in the USA, custom molded and custom designed mouthguards.
Hey, yo, you're probably listening to the Unrestricted Podcast with DreRawka. We are? No, they are. Yeah, oh, right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the real Ruby. You can catch me and Fonzie and the Funk, Daddy Funk on Lake Talk 801 Podcast. Yeah, but I think you have to come in more smoother, more funnier. Like, yeah, they could catch us on the Lake Talk 801 podcast.
Yeah, y'all can catch us on the Lake Talk 801.
Yeah, and be like, and yeah, man, hey, and they could catch people like me, the real Ruby, and people like you, Fonzie, and people like him, G Daddy Funk, on the Lake Talk 801. Who cares?
What did he say?
Huh?
I didn't hear him.
I don't know, but this probably should be the ad.
Are these on?
Catch a new episode every Monday on all streaming platforms. The Lake Talk 801. Tune in now.
You could have went anywhere else, but you kept it Tupac.
I had to. But this particular time, we were playing Today Was a Good Day by Ice Cube.
Man, that's a cult classic.
That's it. Someone's like, I've never been in the Navy, but this is too vulgar for me.
He's talking about him having a good day. What are you doing?
That's it. So we got backlash for that also. So we couldn't always play the music that we wanted to play in Cedar that I know I can play in Salt Lake. And so as far as entertainment, like back down there is really neutral, or it's about the same. It's the bluegrass, guitar playing, you know what I'm saying, person. So here I feel like we can really introduce some cultural, urban music, rap, R&B, hip hop to Salt Lake, and it'll be appreciated. That's the stuff we couldn't do down there.
Yeah, I mean, 9th and 9th is, I feel like 9th and 9th is a great location for that. I feel like, hip hop is so universal, and anybody that, I think that's a nitpick, you know? I think that's a nitpick. I think that there's certain things that people will say just because they need something to say.
They needed something to say, and keep in mind we sat. Now I wouldn't say we stayed at the brewery, but you would catch one of us one of those days, and that day I was there. I talked to that person, had an okay conversation, talked about the beers, and he waited till he got home and gave me the review.
Didn't talk about the conversation you guys had.
Nothing. I said, I was standing right there. All you had to do was just ask.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't be like that.
That's unfortunate for them.
For them, they missed out on the opportunity. Like music, just like beer, music is a conversational piece. So they missed on the opportunity to learn something.
Were you a DJ back in the day?
Nah, man, I never a DJ, but I enjoy and appreciate music.
Because for you to say, you pretty much just did what a DJ do. We read the room.
Yep.
I always read the room. Whenever I'm DJing, I'm looking at the room and are they feeling this? Are they not feeling this? Even if I'm in a 90s hip hop set, what kind of 90s hip hop am I going to play?
There you go.
Is this a good time to play Salt and Pepper? You know what I mean? Is it Cube or is it Hove or is it Lauren? You know what I mean? Who am I playing right now?
Yep.
Because the music's going to complement the vibe.
It will, and that's been our identity, man, for the whole 6 years. Our identity is music, and we're leaning heavily. If you when we open, you'll see what I mean by heavily leaning into that genre. You're gonna see it the moment you walk in. So music is important for us, and that does read the room, and it is a conversational piece, and it makes you either sit and think or get mad and leave. And that's why we play the music that we play, because we want you to consciously be aware of when you walk into our space, you're either going to love what we do or you're going to hate it. But I don't want you to come in there and hate it and then you share the fake stuff about it. Fake news, fake love, fake everything. So we did it as a deterrent also. So at our place in Cedar, which we're going to always do, and we felt like it was the best thing ever, we always have music playing on the outside. So before you even walk up, you can hear the kind of music that's going to be playing inside the space. Not blasting, not loud, just at a low level. And it could be today was a good day that day. And we've had people walk up to the door and be like, no, this isn't it. I'm okay with that. But that was in Cedar. That's what we would have to, what we dealt with as far as being in that red state area. I feel like if I'm playing Black Eyed Peas or the Roots or something and somebody walk up in the Central Night, they're going to be feeling the way I'm feeling.
Oh, yeah. That's a good vibe. So we were talking about, I think it was off air, we're talking about how many breweries, microbreweries, whatever you want to call here in specifically Salt Lake City. We have a lot of them. What's this big boom with breweries happening in Salt Lake City?
I feel like the boom, not the boom. I feel like if you were sitting at a table and you had the table full and there was still one more seat there, that's Utah as far as the beer industry. We're late to the beer boom. Like the beer boom is trending downward. But as far as the boom in Utah, we're definitely trending upward because we were just late to the table. We're 5 to 10 years still trying to catch up to, not the trends, but the lure of what craft beer is. So we're not saturated. There's only 40 plus breweries. In other states, there's 300. So that's just
300 in the state or in Salt Lake?
Not in Salt Lake. Just over 40 plus in the state of Utah. But when you're dealing with other breweries in the state of California, there are over 300.
Oh, okay.
Colorado, there's over 300. Oregon, there's over 300. Like
Oregon got one up on us though, because they can serve topless.
Yeah. I can appreciate that too. I'm a boob man.
Yeah, I mean, they got coffee shops out there where they serve topless. I'm like,
and you smoking.
Yeah, exactly.
And you smoking.
Facts right there. I'm like, geez, like Oregon just don't care.
Utah's catching up, man. I have my medical license also for Utah, so
there you go.
They're catching up a little bit. So don't sleep on us yet.
So not necessarily a boom, but we have a lot of them here. But you were just telling me that a lot of the ones that we think are local really aren't.
Oh, so Wasatch. I don't want to do that. I already did it.
You did it on one.
I already did it on one.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong because they all started off grassroots. Let's keep that in mind. Every brewery starts off grassroots, whether you're $1 million brewery or a $200 brewery. Like I feel like I'm in a $200 brewery when we first started. Like we started with after we sold our home, we used every last penny to open, and then we had a small Kickstarter that just helped us on the way. But we really started grassroots, and most breweries start off that way. And some are fortunate to have the $1 million and a bunch of investors that we never had or the luxury of getting. So if you're supporting and supporting Policy Kings and being on the left or right of us, and we always listening and seeing if there are any investors out there that want to invest in Policy Kings. We've been open for 6 years, so we're a tried and true business, period.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys only on tap, or are you guys selling cans or bottles?
We are in cans and bottles. Well, at the beginning we did bottles. Bottles are gone. Everybody's doing cans right now. The newer breweries anyways. We just haven't been in the liquor stores or in the package agencies. So you can't get our beer at any liquor store near you. You got to come into our tap room and get it. But that's our goal. That was part of our main reason of moving to Salt Lake is to get into the liquor store. We're dealing with a bigger market, more revenue. All those things of more of is going to allow us to get into the liquor store, the grocery store, and distribute a little bit more outside of Utah. So that's our goal for this coming year. Hopefully it comes into fruition, but if it doesn't, it's a slow roll.
Yeah, you can always get it at the tap room.
Yep.
And I feel like if you go to the tap room, you get to experience what it's like, and now you know where you can go and get a nice brew, date night, whatever.
Yep.
Bring the homies, whatever.
Yep. And that's what we've been focusing on a lot, trying to distinguish because there is over 45 breweries. You can't just make beer anymore. You really have to distinguish yourself between the other 40 plus breweries. You got to have something special because right now we all making the same beers.
Mm-hmm.
The newer beers, the newer breweries, we're all making the same things. So that's why I said when you come into our brewery, when we open, you'll see what we're leaning toward and what we're trying to convey for people to see. We're trying to find our niche. We've already found our niche. We're just going to amplify it more. And that's something we had a hard time with doing while we were in Cedar City. Every time I would get louder, someone would try to quiet us. But here, I feel like I can speak my mind a little bit and temper some of the things I say, but I'm going to speak my mind for the most part. I don't know how to put it, but we're definitely in a lane to where we know where we want to be. Like we've had the time to do our trial and errors to see what worked and what didn't work. And we know exactly what's going to work for us. And we just hope people appreciate what we're going to put out there.
You'll find your tribe. There's somebody out there right now looking for what you're building. And when they find it, they're going to fall in love. That's all it is. That whole saying, you build it, they will come I feel like that's the truth. Like you build it and the right people, the right tribe is going to find it.
Yeah, definitely. But what we've always been good at is marketing to not just my tribe. Like I say this all the time. I'm a black-owned business. I'm black. I've always been black. I've been raised black. They know I'm black. So I know I'm going to get the love from my black folks. Yeah. And it's just going to take a little time for them to see it. That's all it ever is. But we've been really good at, being, what's the word? I can't come up with that word, but it ain't just for my people. Mm-hmm. Like I want everybody to come in and love what we do and appreciate what they see and hear. You know what I'm saying? I want you to use all your senses when you walk in. So using all your senses does not have a color barrier, but you are going to appreciate it if you're not who I am. So that's always been our goal. We've never been the one to alienate anyone. Mm-hmm. We always say that it doesn't matter if you black or white, all the colors in between, red or blue, Trump supporter, it does not matter. We all can drink a beer and have a conversation about, saying how we feel. And as long as we're being respectful about that, that's the only thing that matters.
Are you, is it obvious? I'm not going to say obvious. I'm asking a naive question, but is it 21 and up?
Yes.
inside? Okay.
21 and over because we're not a restaurant. We are a bar establishment. So, yeah, you definitely got to be 21 and over. But we have been working on some things like when you think of 21 and over, you're like, man, do you guys open up at 7, 8 o'clock, or you're a night place. If you've been over in that area, you get this feel like it's a daytime thing. Mm-hmm. And so we're working on some ideas to be also a daytime place. Those are the things I want you to stay tuned for and be ready when we open. But we're trying to be, like I said, we're trying to be appealing to everyone and not just one demographic, one group of people, or 21 and over. Of course, you got to be 21 and over. But in Cedar, we held a beer fest also, and that is not a 21 and over thing. We had it open for all ages. We did our Juneteenth event. We did our Black History Month event, a beer fest there also. So we did a lot of events there where it was just all ages. Mm. And that's something you got to get approved by the city and state to be an all age event. So even though we're 21 and over, we'll do things that are family oriented.
Why Central 9th?
The city wanted us there. That was the main thing. We were looking for places and areas in Salt Lake. None of them fit what we wanted, but this is also a part of that. Make sure you do your market research. This is what I didn't do when we decided on Cedar City. I looked at the map and I was like, oh, I know where this place is. We have a little history here. Our kids were born here. Our family is from here. I went to school around here. Let's go to Cedar City. But now if you look at the map, it's divided up as far as red and blue for us. It was that simple. So in Salt Lake, and you go in, it's all blue, which means that there's more opportunity, more diversity, more people that look like me, more people of color, all of those good things that make a good community thrive and vibe. And the further you get out, it's more red. Mm. So we chose to pick the one place on the map that I knew that I could be comfortable in the things that I said and did at our brewery.
Throughout this, Policy King's been around 6 years now?
Yes, 6 years.
6 years. Throughout your 6 years, what's been your biggest challenge professionally?
The biggest challenge is always the back end. It's always paperwork. It's always making sure you do your due diligence, making sure you're taking care of the business part. Like that's the only challenge. Like you can't forget to pay somebody. You can't forget your bills. You can't forget to open your doors. And the only way you can open your doors is making sure you are paid in full pretty much. So learning it as a first-time business owner, there was so many bills that pop up at the beginning, whether it's just business bills or being able to operate. So knowing that you got to pay more people than you make in the first 5 years, that's the hurdle, that's the struggle. That's why they tell you you don't make any money in that first 5 years because you're busy grinding and learning. So there was definitely a learning curve at the beginning and making sure that we were being a business before we were being a brewery. Mm. And so I think that's for any business. When you open, you got to understand that no matter what you opening for or what you're trying to be, you got to learn how to be a corporation first. And that's how you become, saying the best brewery. That's how you become the person or the place that's making the best product. It's when you're making the most money, and the only way you're going to make the most money, you got to make sure you make smart and sound decisions.
How many employees did you have in Cedar City?
That varied. So in the summertime, we'll have upwards to 10. Later in the wintertime, we'll have under 3. Mm. So it just depended on the time of the season or the time of the year, to where we relied heavily on Shakespeare. We relied heavily on doing the times that students were in, in school. But the moment that they would go home is like everything dropped. The community dies. No one's outside. No one's walking about. There's no foot traffic. So it was definitely a seasonal thing for what we were trying to present in Cedar City. That's why I said you can't be a brewery and make it in Cedar.
Mm. Nobody's done it?
No.
There's no other breweries out there?
No, not in Cedar City, but in St. George. You have Zion and you have Silver Reef, and then you'll have Strap Tank. They'll be the 3 breweries that'll be in southern Utah.
So are you guys hiring? Do you guys already have a staff? Are you taking applications?
This is the thing about a small business also. You're always taking applications. Like if you think you have, the star team, be grateful that you do have a star team, first of all. But you'll never have a star team ever. So you're always looking for your, you know what I'm saying, your stars on the team to create you know what I'm saying, the environment that you're looking for. So we've always had a revolving door as far as if we're hiring. I'll always interview you. And if you fit what we need and what we see and what we think we can work with, and you bring something to the table, I'll hire you if I didn't need it. So it's important to make sure you have star players on your team. Right now, we're hiring, but we're not ramping up the hiring process until we know that we're opening on this date. So it'll probably be a month out. Like I said, middle of March is probably be the time we open, and we'll start putting out fillers in February or tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, by the time it come out, it'll be February. Is Dre proud of himself?
Of course I am.
And what are you proud of?
This is a good question, man, because before I came here, I was just thinking about this. And if you look on my phone, I have like 700 plus videos on my phone, whether it's like screenshots of things I hear, I record it, or text messages that I'll get, I'll screenshot them, or videos that I record of myself just speaking, because I don't have a pen and paper anymore. I don't write. So I'll just record it. Today, and this one is a touching one, because today I was thinking about my childhood, right? And like I said, I grew up, it was rough. I grew up in St. Louis, moved to LA when I was 11. You know what I'm saying? I was born in the 80s, so you know what I'm saying, the whole crack epidemic, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's my whole family in a whole. My mom, my brothers. Just the last couple of years, I lost a brother. A couple of years before that, I lost another brother. So we started off as 8. It's only 6 of us. 5 of us, shit. It's only 5 of us. That's how we've been dropping, you know what I'm saying? And I was in a single family home, single mother. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a father growing up. And today I was recording a video, you know what I'm saying? And the question was, if you knew who your father was, would you hold him accountable for the years that he wasn't around if he didn't know it? So my long story short, I did a DNA test through Ancestry, and I found out who my father was. I'm 40 at the time, so this is pretty recent. I'll be 43 in July, and today I was asking myself that question: would you hold him accountable for, you know what I'm saying, being a father and who he was if he didn't know that I existed? And come to find out, he didn't quite know, because, like I said, my mom was in that environment where ain't no talking going on. Mm-hmm. And I asked that question, and I recorded myself asking the question, would I hold him accountable? And I went back and forth. I didn't know if I could, because even if you didn't know that I existed, you know now, because I reached out to him and I talked to him and I asked him. And you said, how do I feel about it? Am I happy with who I am? I am, because, you know, man, this is a tough one.
No, you're good, brother.
You know how they say, well, a boy that's in a single mother home, you know what I'm saying, more likely to be A, B, C, and D. Pick one. Mm-hmm. On drugs, in jail, dead. And, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, I'm definitely not the statistic. So I was able to, you know what I'm saying, become who I am today without a father in my life. My mom passed away when I was 11. I've been through so many different hurdles in my life that even though I went through those things, I still came out on the other end, you know what I'm saying, grateful, first of all, but stronger afterwards anyways. So, yeah, I'm proud of who I am, man. I've come a long way. Mm. Like, that's an understatement.
Well, it sounds like you've also become a man that's gonna be a role model for his kids.
Of course,
you know what I mean. Like, obviously you didn't have the picture of owning your own business. Nobody in your family owned their own business, right?
Never, nobody.
I don't know if anybody owned a house when you were younger.
Nope.
but you're like checking off all these boxes.
Exactly.
And now your kids can see, oh, it's achievable.
Yep.
I can join the military if I wanted to. I can own a house. I can start a business. You know what I mean? Like you're accomplishing all these things to show your kids and other people that are going to get inspired as well that, hey, I can do it.
Yep. So first to graduate from high school, first to go to college, first to have a business, first to everything in my, immediate family. So yes, it is a blueprint for my son and my daughter for when they see where I've come from and where we are, even though we still, not on the top 1% of, being successful and rich. No, we still grind like everybody else. But to see the progression and to see where we come from, that blueprint for my kids to be able to see that will always give them the strength, because that's who I am and that's what I instill in my kids. So to see who I am now and then look back then at who I was, yes, I'm great in all aspects.
Well, how old your oldest?
My son is 17. He'll be 18 in May.
All right, so we got a few years until he can actually come in and have a brew with Pops.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. don't rush the process.
No.
It's gonna come,
bro. It's been a week for me and my family. A week ago today, we were in the hospital. We were at primaries with my middle child. He has acute pancreatitis right now. 6 years old. We had our follow up with our primary care physician. He's like, this is usually in our 45-year-old alcoholic patients. He's like, I know your kid's not knocking back 12 packs. I'm like, no. So this son, man, he just gets the shit into the stick. He always gets the shit into the stick on this thing. So, I took a look at him and I'm like, damn, like he's strong. I'm having a bad day. Like this dude is dealing with the worst pain imaginable right now, and he's killed. Like he's pushing through. I'm like, Dad, get up, go, stop being a bitch, man. Get up and go do something. So we find strength within our kids, but we're also putting the strength within our kids as well.
Yep. I'm glad you said that. That's important. I am instilling the strength of my son, but I also have to remember that we weren't raised up the same way either. So I don't expect you to be as strong as I was. I expect you to be humble. I expect for you to be, fresh to the world and not have to experience the hardships that I ever deal with. So a lot of the times I'll think to myself and I'll say, man, I had it rough. And that's the beauty of my life, of my struggle, of me growing. And my son doesn't have to have it rough. My daughter doesn't have to have it rough either. So like I said, no rush in the process. Be okay and be happy in your environment and the things that you're doing. Be a kid. Mm-hmm. Don't grow up too fast because you don't have to. And you also know, like being in a black family, and some other families, I'm sure other families have it also, to where like you're instantly ready to push your kids out when they turn 18. But I know a lot of cultures where it's the opposite, to where you don't have to leave at 18. Like, let's have a plan. If you choose to go to college, let's go to college. Let's create a future for yourself. Let's always grind, whether it's in music. My son can sing. I can't sing, but my son can sing. So if you want to pursue your music career, let's do that. Let's save some money. Let's get some money in the, the accounts. So when you turn that 25, 26, let's see if we could put a down payment on something. Let's see, how we can create you a better future when you get a little older. But for right now, be young, be experienced, enjoy the things you do, go to school, make some music, but you don't have to rush yourself and rush your child and rush the ages that's going to happen in the process no matter what. Mm-hmm. Take your time.
So you said he's singing. How serious is he about the singing thing?
My son sounds good, man. I don't let you hear some of the stuff he has, but he's still learning. So he's serious, but this generation, and it goes back to, hey, I can't push him the way that I want to be pushed. I got to push him the way that he's being taught in this generation, this time. So it takes a little encouragement to make him feel like, to keep going. It's different. It's different right now. You gotta finesse the kids now. You can't just be like, all right, get out there and do it. But he's been performing. He's done the national anthem for multiple, small sports teams. He's been singing. We've been recording him since he was 5th grade.
Wow.
So he's talented, man. He's super talented.
Is he working with anybody else locally?
Nope. That's why, you know what I'm saying, he's like, you gonna let me meet Dre? I'm sure he can introduce me to someone.
Absolutely. I know a couple people.
All right, man.
So we can get him in the right place, in the right places. Now, if Pops don't like these people, that's up to Pops. But I know some people.
I definitely got to vet stuff. Like I've been good at that, and you know what I'm saying, I've always been a good advocate for my kids. So yeah, you're gonna get vetted. If I don't like you, it ain't gonna happen.
We got to be advocates for our kids. My wife, she caught a big. My wife is the one that caught a big. I don't want to say mishap, but a big thing with my son's health over this last week, where a nurse was not taking my wife serious about my son's pain, and she ended up talking to the charge nurse or the on call doctor at the time, and she's like, "Hey, this nurse ain't listening to me. There's something up with my son." And my wife was just an advocate. They ended up doing more X-rays. They found fluid around my son's lungs, not inside of it, but around it. And it's like, if we wouldn't have found that, how much more serious could have this thing been? So when you talk about being an advocate for your kids, you got to be an advocate. Even if you look like an asshole, I don't care. Like, it's your kid.
It is because they're your legacy, man. And if you can't instill those things and be your protector for your kids, what are they going to become when you're not there? So it's not that, you know, said I just want to advocate for them. I want them to see what I'm doing, so as they get older, they can understand that sometimes you have to step back and be critical of yourself. So I can be critical for you now, but when you get older, those are the things you're going to have to instill in yourself. Those are the things you're going to have to answer for yourself. Be critical about the things you do and say and become, because what you do, say, and become is who you're going to become.
Absolutely. Well, this is opening up. We said mid-March.
Yes.
We're in the place to be. Look at her. She's like, no. She's like, wifey's like, nah.
Mid-March.
It's going to happen. We're going to mid-March, spring. Can we just say spring? Is spring good?
Let's just say spring, but I'm still pushing for mid-March because I'm always optimistic about what we can get done in a short amount of time.
Yeah. But it's all on the state at this point, right?
Yep. It's all on the state. No, I wouldn't even say that. The state has been gracious for us and to us. It's all on this landlord that we're dealing with right now. So he's being a little asshole about, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to say it, but it's like when you're dealing with certain people, this is that business aspect of it. When you're dealing with certain people, if this was year one, I don't know how I would have approached it and reacted to it. But I know it's just business now.
Yeah.
I know it ain't personal. Back then, I would have took it personal. 10 years ago, I would have took it personal.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just business, and we're still trying to iron out, you know what I'm saying, one or two things while we're in the space before we open up. And, you know what I'm saying, it's just the legal parts that we're dealing with. And then as far as once that is knocked out, that's really what's been holding us up, to be honest.
What's the process of taste testing? I guess it would be the term. But is it just you guys tasting it and like, yeah, this is the formula, this is the right one, or do you have like?
We have our tried and true beers, but we have our tried and true recipes. As far as tastings go, tastings don't really happen. We don't really have like the budget to have a Q&A or Q&R, whatever that is, as far as people coming in and trying, smelling the hops, trying the beer. We'll get all of that done. But as far as like tastings go, we have our tap room. You'll always be able to try. Do we host private events? Yes, we'll always host private events. You'll be able to come try the beers before some people try it ahead of time. So we'll always make an opportunity for people to come and try our beers before anybody else tries it. But yeah, it's a process.
Yeah. You look at other breweries and they have like seasonal beers. Is that something that you guys are going to offer, or do you offer?
We do. We have a couple of seasonal beers. Like I said, our Love and Our Hate.
That's right.
We have a saison that we do. It's called Lucky Strike. We put that out in the springtime.
You got to have a Mars Black Man somewhere.
Yeah. We always have a Marzen Oktoberfest. We always have those out around September, October. But we'll probably have a year round because I see a lot of people like Not the dark beers, but the brown beers. So that's the ESBs, the Oktoberfest, the Browns, the Ambers. Like people really enjoy those beers because they're easy drinkers, not too hop forward. So we'll definitely have those year round. But like I said, the seasonal beers are your Oktoberfest, our Saison, and then our double release.
So December 4th, we need a Jay-Z Hove Lager. We need for Jay-Z's birthday. You're not a Jay-Z guy, huh? You're so West Coast.
I'm not a Jay-Z person, but I will say Reasonable Doubt is my favorite album, period. But as far as a Jay-Z fan, I've owned every album, but if I'm ranking them, it's always Tupac. Then it's, you know what I'm saying, then it's Nas, then it's Jay-Z, in that order. And everybody else can fall distant 4 or 5. But those top 3 are my favorite artists.
What makes Jay-Z your favorite? I mean, Tupac your favorite artist of all time?
Because I relate to it. You know what I'm saying? My favorite song of all time is Dear Mama. If you listen to that song, and you listen to this podcast and you hear what I'm talking about when I speak about my mom, like there we go. That's my story to a T. So when I think of Tupac, that was just the right time for me during the time I was a kid growing up. So a lot of relatable stories when he's rapping or when he's talking. So Tupac is always number 1 for me.
And then you go Tupac, Nas. I'm surprised you didn't go Corrupt.
See, I'm not a West Coast person.
Okay.
But I don't know how to put it. I like Ice Cube. I'm not a Corrupt. I'm not a West Coast. I don't know how to put it. I'm not a West Side Connection person.
Really?
I'm not that. I don't need that in my, you know, what I'm saying, in my playlist. But as far as like when you think of West Coast music, I think of DJ Quick.
Yeah.
Who else? Sugar Free. So take me in that Pomona area where it's a little more rhythm to the rap and not so much, you know what I'm saying, rap to the rhythm. If that makes a little sense.
More, yeah, I got you. So, did you have a rap book? Did you ever want to spit bars growing up?
I can't rap for the best of us. I can't rap, but I can
wrote
write.
Some lyrics.
I can write. I can write, but I can't rap. I don't know why. Again, there's a lot of talent in my, you know what I'm saying, in my immediate family. My brothers were all rappers. They could all rap and write. But I can't rap, but I can write with the best of them.
What was your thing growing up?
Growing up, it definitely wasn't writing. I played a lot of sports growing up, man. I played basketball. I'm only 5'8". Let's be very clear how tall I am. I'm only 5'8", and yes, I have a little weight on me. But back then, I was slim and 5'8" and quick, and I could jump. My son is 6'1", 6 feet 6'1" right now. Basketball wasn't. We thought it was his thing, and this is what we do in our household. Like back then, like I had to remember, this was my generation. You only had so many things to get out the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Play basketball, play a sport, go to college, get a, you know what I'm saying, get you know what I'm saying, get a scholarship, get a degree that way, try to make it professionally, or go into the military, or I'm sure there's one other one. I have to remember that my generation isn't my son's generation. So I never put on my son to become a basketball player, become an athlete, become any of those things. My son is intelligent. He can sing. He's been in choirs. He maintains a 4.0. He actually graduated in December, but because we wanted to keep him eligible, we still have him in high school right now so he could play soccer.
Oh, okay.
So my son graduated at 17.
So what does he do?
He go to school for 2 days out of the week. And
just go to school.
He just go to school, and then when soccer season come up, which is next month, or March, I think.
Yeah.
He's going to try out, you know, saying for the soccer team because he played it when we were in Cedar. So he want to play one more year of soccer, and then we're taking college courses right now. So he's taking some of those basic, you know, say courses that you have to take before you can actually take your major stuff. So my son is super intelligent. Same with my daughter, man. She's been a 4.0 student the moment she popped out.
Wow.
And she plays basketball though. She is actually playing at Highland Middle School, and not Highland, Northwest. Let me get that right. My son go to Highland, and my daughter plays at Northwest, and that's in Rose Park.
Yeah.
And she can ball. My son could play. My daughter could ball.
Hell
like
yeah.
we talk about this all the time. Like, first you got to have two things. You got to be coachable and you got to have a little bit of IQ. Both of my kids are coachable and both of them have IQ, but she pushes the the envelope as far as what IQ really means as a basketball player. That I am proud of. So we definitely push her in that way. Hey, if you're good, let's find out.
Mm-hmm.
So we always have people poaching our kids, man. Since my son has been young and now my daughter, we've always had that AAU poach. Oh, come practice. No, I don't believe in AAU ever. I've never believed in that. I believe in if you love a sport that you want to play, just play the sport. And it'll come to you. People will come watch you and people will appreciate what you do.
But isn't there higher talent in AAU?
Yeah, but there's also favoritism and nepotism and all the other isms.
But is that a bad thing?
Of course it is.
You think nepotism is a bad thing?
I think in basketball it's a bad thing. We can talk about Bronny and all that. That's a bad thing.
Forget about Bronny.
But just
what about Gary Payton Jr.?
Same thing. If he's a 6'2" point guard that can't play point guard, he would have never made it to the NBA. And he's left-handed.
What are you talking about?
And
he
he's
flourished.
left-handed.
When he was with Portland, he flourished underneath Lillard.
I know. And what is he doing now? On the bench with the Warriors again. Because why?
Is he over there still?
Yep. He went back to the Warriors. So again.
But that don't matter. He made it to the league.
Yeah. Nepotism.
And he's set for life. He's good.
Let me be clear. I don't have a problem with nepotism because in this world, people that don't look like me use nepotism all the time. I'm just saying when it comes to basketball and you look at just the statistics of how a player can make it to the NBA and how they sustain and stay in the NBA, a 6'2" point guard is left-handed doesn't last in the NBA, period. Just like a 6 foot right-handed point guard won't last in the NBA. You have to have that 6'4" height and you can be able to dunk right now. That's what it is. If you can shoot, dunk, and 6'4", you can make it to the NBA.
Do you think that still stands true to this day in the NBA?
Still.
The game has changed.
The game is trash.
Yeah, it is. I was just talking to the homies yesterday. I was like, the NBA doesn't even get me excited no more.
No more. And I grew up watching the greats. And this is me in the 90s. I don't know anything about Magic in the 80s.
Yeah.
I never watched Magic.
Yeah.
But if you talk about Kobe in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
If you talk about Shaq in the 90s. You talk about Penny Hardaway in the 90s. Like, these players, those are players that I grew up watching. Right now, there is no superstar player in the NBA once you get past the old heads. Everybody's done.
Well, yeah, I was talking about who's coming after Bron.
Nobody.
Who's the guy?
Nobody. They're pushing the narrative for Wemby, but if you look at the last year and who was the number 1 draft pick, what's his name? There you go.
Was it Chet?
Nope.
Who was it?
I think it was a Spanish guy. I can't remember his name, but he was the number 1 draft pick last year, and you don't even know anything about him.
Who's your starting 5 all time, dead or alive? Give me your 5.
All time, you have Kobe, Jordan.
Hold on, Kobe at the 1?
Yep.
Okay.
Kobe is a much better distributor than Jordan is ever going to be. I'm not putting any younger guards in there. I like tall players. So everybody has to be at least 6'6".
Okay.
So that's even in football. Like even when I'm playing Madden or college football, I gotta have the 6'6" player. I don't need the 6'1" player because it does nothing for me.
All right, Dre. So we're starting off with
Kobe, Jordan, Magic, LeBron. Pick up between Shaq or Tim Duncan or Wilt or any of the great Lakers or a Celtic player, and that's who my top 5 is. You can interchange that 5th player.
All right. I don't see the first 3 playing well together, but all right. I respect it.
You won't lose.
Oh, you guys would definitely lose.
You won't lose.
You get it. There's a better distributor. You can go. I mean, even John Stockton's gonna give you better distributing than Kobe.
And then
God rest Kobe. Love Kobe.
R.I.P.
I didn't appreciate Kobe when he was alive. And it's
nobody did. Well,
I was a trailblazer, and it was beat LA all day. And you guys, the Robert Horry shitting on us, and it's a big thing. But I just feel like
we'll take Big Shot Rob all day. That's a Laker. He's always going to be a Laker.
Yeah. Who was it? Shannon Brown? Shannon Brown didn't get a fair shake with the Lakers, though.
If you can't cut it, that's the thing. And he created, like when I say he, I'm always speaking about Kobe. Best player all time. Let me be clear about my picks. Better than Jordan. And that's arguable. And that's arguable.
He mirrored his game to Jordan. How's he gonna be the best when he mirrored it against Jordan?
Because he became better. 2.0 is always better than the first version. Period. We can go about this all day. Like all day. Again, I didn't grow up watching a lot of MJ's game. And that's how a lot of people play it right now. Just like I didn't grow up watching a lot of Magic games.
Now we watched the best Jordan. What are you talking about? The 90s Jordan was the best Jordan. We ain't got to talk about 86, 80, 88, 89.
No, none of those years. The first 7 years we always cancel out. But yes, MJ had the 92 to 96. And you either paid attention or you didn't. And most of the people that paid attention were only people that was from the Midwest. You ask anybody that was in LA on the West Coast, nobody paid attention to MJ at that time. Even though he was winning titles, nobody paid attention. Only Midwest people care about MJ. Quote me on it.
Tony Kukoc or Scottie Pippen?
Tony.
Damn.
Only because
you're such a contrarian. You fucking with me, huh?
No. Only because I don't like Scottie Pippen right now. Yeah. So you get some points knocked off when you try to knock off the top dog. You can't.
Yeah.
So Tony all day. He's a lefty. I don't like lefties. But he's a lefty and he can shoot, and he was 6'9", 6'8". So
favorite player who never won a ring?
Penny Hardaway, never won a ring.
Oh, my man, Will Wonder's gonna love that. He's a big Orlando Magic fan.
Yeah, man. If he never got hurt after, let's just say after Shaq left, if he was able to get healthy after he left, even though he was hurt the year before, he could have still been a great player, but he's just always injured. And Allen Houston.
Okay.
I'll give that one. I'll give Allen Houston, Nick, a shout out.
What could have been with Grant Hill, though? What could have been?
But he had longevity, though. He still had longevity. Even though he didn't win a ring, he still played 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah. I think I can count 4 or 5 teams he was on.
But how many games did he actually play? You know what I mean? Grant Hill was injured a lot. People forget about how much he was injured.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Mine was Tracy McGrady. That's my favorite player of all time.
Yes, he's great. If I'm a Kobe fan, I can't ever support Tracy McGrady. I'm sorry. Even Kobe would tell you that today if he was here.
Yo, I lost my mind when they said Kobe would listen to the Halloween theme music before a game.
Yeah,
like he was locked in.
He was always locked in. You know what I'm saying? And again, I grew up watching Kobe in our old place. We still have pictures of it today. Kobe's jersey always hung up. The moment you walked into our Cedar City location, we always had number 24 hung up on our wall, no matter what. So I've always been an avid Kobe fan. Even after the fact, like the girl dad. That narrative, the book writer. He was much more than the game after it.
He was a spirit. You know what I mean? He gives you that same feeling like Pac does, right? It's like he's that spirit. He's that feeling. Yep. It's a mentality. He's Kobe. You know what I mean? It's a mentality. It's a feeling. It's motivation. It's inspiration.
Yep. To get somebody to love you after you've gone, that's the true testament. Because they hated Kobe, you know what I'm saying, when he was playing.
Oh, I'm one of them.
Teammates did not like him. Everybody always has something negative to say about Kobe.
And fuck Karl Malone.
That too. That part. Again, if you've always watched basketball, yes, I understand that. But this day and age, as far as basketball goes, man, there's no Karl Malone narrative. There's no stories out there. There's no grit. There's no stars. There's no superstars. That's why LeBron is holding on. And I'm a Laker fan. Mm-hmm. It's time, my guy. It's time.
All right, Dre. Well, let's wrap this thing up. What's the social medias? Where can we follow? And where can we send a resume? All that good stuff.
You can send the resume to my wife. Her phone number is 435-592.
No, don't put that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I was going to say the whole number. But true story, her number is already all across social media, and you're going to find it. That was the reason why I did it. Like, literally, if you search Policy Kings, her name comes up with her number, and it's still the same. But we're going to change all of that because it's a new day, new era. But as far as sending your resume, man, send it to policykingsbrewery@gmail.com. That's our best one. That's our main account. Our social medias, I hate Facebook, so you'll never catch us on Facebook. I got rid of Facebook. It's full of disgruntled old people. But our Instagram, you can find us on our new Instagram. It's Policy Kings Official. We still have our other Instagram up and running, but we're really trying to like out with the ON with the new kind of the concept. But we still check our messages on there because we have a ton of followers that still are on our old one, and that's Policy Kings Brewery. So you want to send a resume, send it to the email. If you want to follow us, follow our new page. If you try to follow me individually, you may not like what I post. I'm a controversial person. But if you do and you like what you've heard, what is mine? It's shit. What is mine? I gotta check.
He don't even know.
I gotta check.
He talking about old people. He don't even know.
For real, man. I gotta check.
You know you in your 40s when you do this.
I know. I need glasses. It's policy.dre.
You forgot that?
Nah, I didn't forget that. I got a couple of different.
You got burner accounts?
I got some burner accounts.
So you can go talk shit?
I got 2 burner accounts. I ain't gonna say the name of them, but I got 2 of them.
You need to start a podcast where you could just go and talk your shit.
I'll tell you, I had to. I got 2 burner accounts for my Instagram, and I have a burner account for Google and Yelp. I have some burner accounts, man. I had to make sure I had to get back at people.
So you can talk shit back?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they go look at the person like, he's only commenting for Policy Kings. Yes, that's my burner account. It is.
All right, Dre. Any shout outs? Anybody want to throw some love to?
Always to my wife, man. First and foremost, that's the only shout out I really have, because without her, we wouldn't have made it this far. We wouldn't have gotten to this process. But if I absolutely had to give a shout out to somebody, it would probably be, you know what I'm saying, I just want to thank God, man. I ain't shouting out nobody.
There you go.
I'm better than everybody out there. I'm number one.
There you go. I wonder how many times your wife's like, fuck. Damn, Dre, you did it again, Dre. Come on.
I always got to catch myself. I always have to do it. And this is why she's always shoulder length, arm length away from me. Even then, she stood up. She's like, nope, shut up. Be quiet.
Wrap it up, B.
That's it. But I ain't thanking nobody, man. I think I'm a superstar in everything that I do.
Hell yeah.
I'm grateful for who I am and where I've become. So I'm number one, my wife. And God always plays a part in everything that we do.
Hell yeah. I love it. I said hell yeah right after you said God, my bad.
Pause.
Hey, if you want to follow them, make sure you do it. Also, share their content. Share the things that they got going on. Tap in. If you are somebody that loves the brew, go check out their brew. I know I'm going to be I can hit the tap room, right? Is the tap room open yet?
Not yet.
Can I purchase some cans yet?
You can't purchase any cans, but you can go to the Thieves Guild in the Central Knife District, and you could try our brown ale, reminisce about it, talk about it, share about it, let people know what you think of it, and then we'll have some soon.
All right, man. I'm gonna have to put you guys in the fridge. I was
definitely.
like, yo, I want to support local, and he's like, this ain't local no more, Dre. I was like, damn. What about Two Row? Is Two Row local?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
Two Row is definitely local. Husband and wife. They've been doing it for the last 9-10 years, probably longer. Don't quote me the years, but they've definitely been one of the first breweries after that 2010 boom.
Okay. All right. Well, make sure you follow the podcast. Make sure you share it with a friend. As you know, we are on Patreon. Your boy needs your support. And honestly, like, you guys are showing up. The Patreon's going crazy right now. We had close to 40 people subscribe to the Patreon, and different tiers are being added every single week, and I just appreciate you guys, man. You guys are really showing up. So if you want to help support and be a part of the Patreon family, head on over to patreon.com/DreRawka, DreRawka. If you want to buy a shirt or a hoodie, head on over to allrock.com. That's ALLRAWK.com. Follow me on Instagram at DreRawka, and if you want to, share, like, comment, subscribe. It's free to show love. Have the day you deserve. Always protect your light. We out. Peace. All right, Dre. What'd you have for breakfast today?
I've been on my little bit of healthy kick.
Okay.
So I'm trying to eat 2 times a day. And so today I had scrambled eggs, turkey sausage, one small pancake.
There you go.
Bam.
What kind of pancake though?
You know,
are you
just
doing
traditional?
Okay, get the Kodiak. So I'm on my health journey as well. And one thing that just small changes that I've done, the Kodiak cakes, it's all protein. So there's a lot of good, like more protein in that. And I think it's 0 sugar too. So I just, all protein. I try to, I really just do, I probably eat maybe one time a day.
There you go. I'm trying to get to that.
Yeah.
It's not hard. I think it's more of a mind thing because you're so used to that routine of just like, let me pop something in my mouth real quick.
Yo.
Pause.
Hey, yo. And I don't know how you were raised, but in my household, it was like, yo, you have to have your meat. You have to have your bread with your meat. You got to have your vegetables with your meat. And then you got to have like a good drink with your whole meal.
Yep.
And in my household, Pops was a single father. So Pops was like, yo, finish all your meal. Like,
everything.
You ain't leaving the table until you finish all that.
And then you don't realize until you get a little older, that's kind of backwards. So you don't have to finish your whole plate and you don't have to pile up everything that you get for your plate.
Bingo.
So for our kids, we've been really good as parents. Let me knock on a little bit of wood.
Yeah.
We don't push the sodas. We make sure they get, a healthy meal. We don't overindulge in all the extra sugars, all the, fast food stuff. So don't look at my size. Look at my kids. They're all 5'9" and above.
Yeah.
Skinny, slim.
They also got the metabolism too, though.
They got I told them it's going to catch up with you. So you got to practice what you preach earlier. So that's what we've been doing with our kids since they've been born. Making sure you be mindful of what you do. You don't got to cut everything out. Yeah. Don't cut any carbs out as a young kid because you need that energy. And that's what you're getting. But for me, I got to cut that shit. I got to cut it out.
You can curse here. My tomorrow's Royal Rumble day, so we're going to definitely get a pizza. So tomorrow's going to be one of them days. But I'll hit the gym before, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
There you
be
go.
on it.
That's it.
And
don't feel guilty about it.
Nah, man.
Don't feel guilty about it. You got 7 days in a week.
Yep.
Make up for it.
And so many hours in between then, too.
Yep.
24 hours in a day. And you guys being a small business, you guys know what it's like. You know what I mean?
24 hours is definitely an understatement. If you could add one more in there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Sometimes it does turn into overnight. So sometimes at 24 turns into 27, 28.
Our first 3 years, our first 4 years was like that, where we would literally be from the moment we woke up, and it'd be 12, 1 o'clock in the morning because we're really running a bar.
Yeah.
Because we have a bar establishment. So we're there when we open, getting ready. We're making sure our staff is ready. We're watching what's going on. And, as a small business owner and a small business.
Let's talk about it on the pod. Let's start the pod.
I thought we was on the pod.
We ain't start yet. We ain't start. You'll see at the end. That's going to be at the end, like the end credits. You'll see it.